here at Pro Tour Fate Reforged. Hello there. Welcome back to the booth here at Pro Tour Fate Reforged. Marshall Cycle with Randy Bueller. We've got one more round of draft action for you here. This is the third, of course, is going to decide a lot of who wins their pods. Let's head out of the feature match area right now for round 11. Hello and welcome to coverage of Pro Tour Fate Reforged. We're in Washington, D.C. I'm Marshall Cycliffe in the booth with Randy Bueller, and we're ready for round 11 action. This is the third round of draft on day 2 here, a.k.a. the last round of draft. So we're going to see some potential pod winners down in the feature match area. We're going to start things off with Zvi Mowshowitz, the Hall of Famer from New York. You get a look at Zvi there. He's in thinking mode. He'll be much more animated in just a few moments. His opponent, World Magic Cup champion Martin Muller from Denmark. You get a look at him there.
Feature match area players.
Looks like they're ready to go.
Yeah, Martin has taken 2 mulligans, so he's on a 5-card hand, I believe. These decks are really interesting, by the way. It's 2-color beatdown versus 2-color beatdown.
Wow.
I know, right? These Zvi is just mana curve decks, soul summons, and
What's
3
his other color?
Inoc Bondkins. He's green-white. It's
Green-white
green-white versus green-red. Both friendly color, 2-color beatdown decks.
Huh.
These guys are both 1-1 on pod 2. So they were playing at our featured pod. They have split the first 2 rounds. One of them's going to be in good shape. One of them's going to be no losses left to give after this is over.
All right.
Zvi's actually only got 16 land in his deck.
Wow.
7 and 7 on basics and 2 multi-lands.
And he's got a pair of soul summons to kick things off here.
Yeah, he's on 2 Defiant Strike, 3 Feet of Resistance, just, 2 drops out the wazoo, tricks.
I like this.
It's pretty cool.
And he can certainly willfully trade off his manifest for the big bear there, the Alpine Grizzly from Martin.
Yeah, Zvi tops his curve with an Elite Scale Guard and a Teamer Saber-tooth.
We've also got Seth Manfield versus Alexandre Bonneau.
So that's to win pod 1.
Yes.
And be King of the Hill going into Constructed.
Right, Manfield's still 10-0. We've got Daryl Ayers versus Filippo Crater, and Pierre Dagen versus Antony Del Moral Leon.
Yeah, and so that's to win pod 5 and 7.
Right. So those are the other matches going on in the feature match here. We'll, of course, be checking in on those throughout the course of this round. But for now, hello, Zvi Mowshowitz. 2-drop into 2-drop into 2-drop 2-drop. So he has completely exploded here.
This is what
really
the deck
trying
does.
to capitalize.
Can I see that card? Yeah.
Oh, this isn't bad at all. Roar of challenge here.
So I have to double block, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to force it to double block. Ferocious is also going to be active here, making the Alpine Grizzly indestructible.
Well,
and he's going to get a 2-for-1 out of that.
Martin is holding his own for a mulligan to 5.
You know, that is not bad at all, reducing 2 creatures down for just 1 card.
He's
and
the one that's got gas left in his hand, too.
Mm-hmm.
Can't cast the Aerostorm yet, but he's got a Heel Cutter, got a Battle Rage.
And Salt Road Patrol for Zvi Mowshowitz continues his nice curve out here. There's a Feral Krushock off the top.
Don't you just...
For Miller,
yeah,
but he just has to play the Heel Cutter face up as effectively a blocker. Muller all the way down to 10 life here. Doesn't have a lot of wiggle room here. He's got a nice little board state going, but with Zvi at 21, not much he can really do here. So Zvi's going to attack with the whole team here.
Wow. Yeah, we're really seeing the value of aggression.
Absolutely. And Zvi, Martin's going to double block. And he's going to ultimately trade off the Heel Cutter for the Salt Road Patrol, but the hits keep coming for Zvi Mowshowitz. It's 2-drop, 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 4-drop, true drop. That's how he's gone. You know what his game plan is, and he's got an Inoc Bondkin as a follow-up, although he does have 2 other mana left over and a pair of cards in hand.
Yeah. The bad news for Zvi is Forest. He's drawn 6 lands in a 16-land deck. Above average, but still might get there.
Muller had to mulligan to 5 this game, but has managed to barely stay in it here. He is really up against it, and missing another land drop here might seal the deal here for Zvi. And in comes the team, everybody. There's a Teamer Battle Rage, though, in hand for Miller. He can use this defensively.
Right.
And he's going to. You don't feel good about doing this if you're in Miller's seat, but he doesn't have a choice. At this point, he is up against it way too far and has to take risks like this. And it looks like it's going to work out for him here, too. He's going to go down to 2. He's going to need to find something and hope Zvi doesn't have another creature.
Zvi doesn't. He drew land that turn.
So Zvi plays a land and passes. And
here's
wow,
a creature.
Miller has a nice one. Sultai Flare, if that thing dies, he's going to gain 4 life.
Yet another land. He's drawn 8 lands now.
Oh, so close. And he has to go into build up my Einok Bonkin mode here. And Miller is 1 mountain away from being quite stable here.
Green-white decks don't exactly have direct damage to get those last 2 points through.
No.
He's going to have to get through with the creature at some point.
So let's see what Zvi, he drew a spell for the turn, couldn't quite get a view of it.
Is it the Saber-tooth?
Oh, don't say that. Oh, it is. It's Teamer Saber-tooth for Zvi Mowshowitz. That is going to be a major issue here. Oh, and now the mountain comes for Martin. A turn too late. You see Zvi has the mana up to return the manifest to his hand. And interestingly, that's a Dragon Scale boon. That would not be too bad to have back in your hand if you're Zvi Mowshowitz.
So Martin Muller randomly blocked the wrong manifest?
He did.
He blocked the plains instead of the Dragon Scale boon?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
He had no way to know.
Right.
And
totally random.
And just happened to guess wrong.
Although Dragon Scale boon by itself doesn't get through.
No.
Does feel like Zvi suddenly, with that Teamer Saber-tooth off the top, has a lot of options.
It was just like a turn late here for Martin. The Teamer Saber-tooth is effectively impossible to kill for the green-red deck as long as Zvi doesn't want it to die. It's not going to. It's all direct damage, combat tricks, and combat itself, and Zvi has to just sort of leverage the power of that Teamer Saber-tooth now.
Looks like he's going to attack with just the Saber-tooth.
Yeah, and he's going to block with the Khrushchev and force Zvi to do something here, and Zvi is going to oblige him.
Picks up the Einok Bonkin.
Yeah.
Not the manifest.
Yeah, this way he can replay it this turn and still have the mana to bounce.
Go ahead.
Twice. And what can Martin come up with to get out of this jam? Teamer Saber-tooth dominates a board state like few uncommons can. Remember, if Martin goes to kill one of the other creatures, you figure, okay, fine. That's fine. The Saber-tooth can get indestructible. I'm just going to concentrate on the other threats that he has. Well, those get bounced back to his hand, too. Here's a Rage form now for Martin, but such a tough position to find yourself in when you're playing the green-red deck. So Miller has gone up to 6, though. His Khrushchev died, and the Sultai Flare gained him 4 life, so he's got a bit of a cushion here. He can actually take a hit from any of Zvi's cards currently. Although, if he doesn't block here, he dies.
He doesn't know that.
He does not know that.
But
that is
we know.
Completely unapparent.
Right.
Did he not block?
He did block.
Okay, he did block.
He blocked with the Flare, so he'll gain 4 more.
All right. So now he's got a cushion up to 10.
Go ahead.
Zvi is just empty-handed now.
Yeah.
He's continuing to play those lands. I mean, a lot of people would be tempted to hold a land in hand there, but when you're activating Teamer Saber-tooth all the time, you want as much mana in play as possible.
It reminds me of yesterday. You know, Frank Carson played all of his cards, and his opponent said, "Do you have any cards?" And he said, "I don't need
cards."
And you know what? Zvi Mowshowitz doesn't here either.
Here's 2/2 Double Striker on the attack.
Block.
Zvi is not interested in any kind of crazy, like, become immense shenanigans
No,
on
he's
a
just
Double
going to
Striker.
block and return it to his hand. Here's Highland game for Miller. Now, I have to say that, you know, Miller has really drawn out of this nicely now. Mulligan to 5, and he's fully in this game. He's got a major, major problem on his hands, but he's creeping ahead as Zvi continues to draw land after land here, and here comes the
Martin does have
Saber-tooth.
become immense with a Double Striker. Like, if
Yes.
Zvi lets that Rage Form hit him once, it hits him for 16, and Aerostorm is suddenly lethal. Right? I mean, Zvi might think Zvi's on 21. He can take a hit, but he's just like, no, I'm not taking a hit. Einak Bonkin. Zvi, by the way, playing Become Immense in Constructed in the Infect deck that most of Pantheon is playing. So
that's funny.
Do
you think he'll be aware of it, like more than he might have been? You know, it's an uncommon. It's only in 2 packs. It's funny how those little crossovers work. But yeah, he certainly is respecting the double strike on the Rage Form creature here, not wanting to get involved. Now, Zvi did finally draw a creature for the turn, and boy, was it a nice one. It was a Pine Walker. That's played face down as a morph, and with all that extra mana, Zvi has a lot of flexibility here.
He cannot flip the Pine Walker unless he lowers his Saber-tooth guard.
Yeah, and he's
So
just
do not expect him to do that.
Yeah,
Maybe next turn.
Yeah, there's no reason. All right, there's a Gore Swine to add to the board now for Martin, who's fallen down to 5 life here. He was at 10, and he took 4 and then cracked a fetch land.
Saber-tooth's just going to keep coming.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I think you could probably flip up Martin Muller's deck and just say he does not have an answer to Saber-tooth. He just can't beat it. And even though he's scratched and fought and got himself back into a situation where, you know, he's reached some level of board respectability here, that Saber-tooth is just a long-term problem that he will not be able to solve. You know, he can put out something much bigger, right? Like, if he can find something like a Woolly Loxodon,
exactly.
Now all of a sudden
that's what he needs.
He's stabilized his board fully. He still can't kill the Saber-tooth in most scenarios, but he can mitigate the fact that it's attacking him every single turn.
He can keep hoping against hope that this double striker is going to get through.
That Zvi makes a mistake.
Oh my. Oh, Awaken the Bear, Become Immense?
No way.
He
That's
drew Awaken the
5/11,
Bear?
that's 22. Oh, but Sandblast from Zvi Mowshowitz to kill it. He had just drawn it. Oh, Martin Muller almost stole that game. He was going to do 22. Oh.
Wow.
Plan A. And a little smirk from Miller who's like almost got him.
He just drew the Awaken the Bear, but Zvi had just drawn the Sandblast.
Wow. So there,
unbelievable.
He did find a way, though, to ignore the Saber-tooth and kill
And how quick was
Zvi?
Zvi didn't look surprised at all. He's like, well, that's what I have the Sandblast for. Just instantaneously understood exactly what was happening to him. Oh, yep, there's Trample. There's the Become Immense. I got to kill it. I kill it.
Wow, he was so close.
Wow.
He was so close to just killing him. 24 he would have done there. 6, 3, no, 22.
2, 5, 11, yeah, 22, and Zvi's on 21.
No, that's my attack.
All right, Pine Walker has finally joined the Saber-tooth in the attack. Zvi has enough mana now that he can unmorph the Pine Walker and still have up 2 Saber-tooth activations.
3. Go ahead.
What a game this turned into.
Wow. And this game has officially ended.
The double mulligan and the mana flood kind of canceled each other out, and we got us an awesome game. That was fun.
Okay, we'll be back with more feature match action after these messages.
Ultra Pro is the place to go for all your Magic accessories. With card sleeves, deck boxes, playmats, and portfolios showing off the best Magic art, Ultra Pro is the standard in safe storage. Visit ultrapro.com for more information. Standard is the name of the game at Fate Reforged Game Day. Join the battle on February 14th and 15th at your local game store. Visit wizards.com/magicgameday for more information.
And welcome back to the feature match area. Fireworks flying down there on our main match. Let's take a look at Seth Manfield. He is currently sitting at 10-0. He's the only undefeated player left. Looking to win his pot. He's playing against Alexandre Bonneau from France, who is on 9-1. So,
and on the Sorin Solemn Visitor plan.
Oh, hello. Soren Solemn Visitor sitting there. Now, is that a Sage Eye Avengers, though, for Seth Manfield? Yeah, looks like it, right? So this could be a real fight. Planeswalker versus Bomb Rare.
Seth down to 4, though. Soren's on 1 loyalty.
Yeah, it looks like Soren has decided that he doesn't want to be loyal at all anymore, and he's ran away.
Oh, was that an attack? So that was Seth attacking with Sage Eye.
Avengers, yeah. And he follows it up with a morph and a land. But Seth Manfield's the one who's behind here. Look at that. He's at 4. Bonneau's at 25, so...
I'm sure Soren had something to do with that life.
For sure. All right, so in comes the team, and Seth Manfield's in a very tough spot because that morph could very easily kill him here. I don't, you know, he could, even if he has something like,
Morph on morph?
Yes, and is...
Seth is not the one with 3 colors, though.
No, he's not.
He's got the 5 mana that usually makes a morph scary, but not the 3 colors.
Wow, so he's actually
Ripper
quite
trades
happy.
for a Weaver?
Yeah, and depending on what the follow-up is, he could be in a decent spot. All right, it's another morph. Wow, this could get very close very quickly here.
Yeah, I mean, Seth needs something else. Sage Eye Avengers is not enough all by itself.
But he doesn't need much else. So Seth Manfield's down to 1. But he's close here. Make that 2.
Yeah, doubling his life total.
Yeah, unfortunately, both creatures are still lethal, and Seth does nothing for the turn.
Alexander's like, does this do something on defense? Doesn't trigger when you block, does it?
No, it doesn't.
I can attack in for lethal, can't I?
Well, sort of. He's going to have to go for it here, though. But if he does, and if Seth had something like, say, a Force Away, that could really punish.
Right now, it's a tricky spot for Alexander. Oh, with dash.
Alesha's Vanguard with dash means that even if
it would have taken
Seth
tricks.
had a bounce spell,
he's only got like 1
it.
card left in his hand. So.
Yeah. So that's going to do it. So Bonneau takes down his game.
We'll certainly keep an eye on this, and maybe we'll get back to find out if Seth Manfield can hold on to King of the Hill or whether he's going to pick up his first loss of the weekend. And that is for Pod 1. Alexander's 2-0. Both players are 2-0. Those are the only 2-0 players so far this morning on Pod 1, even with the differential records.
Sure. Let's jump back. Now, interesting things to think about, by the way, for that last sequence. So first and foremost, Martin Muller, he could, I'm just saying.
The last sequence, you're still on the double striker versus Awaken the Bear and Become Immense.
Is he could Become Immense main phase.
Okay.
Look, if he feels like this is his one shot to win the game, so he's not playing around kill shot, he just doesn't care. He could do that main phase.
He could have played around Sandblast by using the Become Immense main phase.
Yes.
Interesting.
Now the interesting
Zvi blocks with more, though.
But the interesting, yes, he does. Now the interesting thing with Zvi, though, is that he does not fire off Sandblast with Awaken the Bear. He's just like, sure. A lot of people would just knee-jerk and say, no, I'm going to 2-for-1 my opponent.
Oh, my,
but
that's a good point.
He waits until Martin plays the Become Immense, because if Zvi does, Martin says, Become Immense in response, you're
Sandblast.
dead.
Wow.
That was a great little sequence at the end.
Did Martin give him time? Because Martin played those 2 cards pretty fast. He was super excited about the combo.
I know.
If he goes Awaken the Bear, it was super fast. If Martin awakens the bear and waits, well, he can't wait. If he yields priority, then he doesn't get to play it. So it's kind of like he has to go first.
Right.
But sometimes, like, your opponent will signal, and then you kind of let them play their spell.
Yeah.
Some opponents would sort of telegraph the Sandblast, even because it's sometimes ambiguous as to whether you've yielded priority or not.
Totally. I mean, you can put it on the stack.
Yep.
Right? I mean, you just say, I'm going to cast Awaken the Bear. Sometimes they just do it in response to that.
Right. Exactly.
You know, like if he had a Bring Low.
Exactly.
Obviously, that's not relevant here, but that's the kind of sequence we're talking about. So it looks like they're trading cards early here. A Warden has fallen. Kintree Warden, that is.
Yeah, if he main phases the Become Immense, he does play around Sandblast, but Zvi will block with more. He had other creatures.
It's true. But I figure that decimating Zvi's board is probably okay, too.
This Team Saber-tooth still around.
Well, it's a lot worse if you kill all their other dudes. But. All right, so here's a manifest now for Zvi off of Formless Nurturing, so it's a 3/3. And right now, it looks like Zvi's positioned himself quite nicely.
He's flooded again.
He's flooding again.
Yeah.
But he's got 5 power versus nothing on board.
Sure.
So maybe he can try to capitalize here.
Defiant Strike.
And he's going to Defiant Strike main phase just to try to find some action here.
Finds an Awaken the Bear.
Yeah.
4.
Not nothing.
17.
Ooh.
Oh, last.
Martin's got a big hand here. Savage Punch, Fierce Invocation, pair of Become Immense, and a Crew Shock.
And a Rage Form. There's the double strike to go with those 2 Become Immenses.
Wow. Now, Zvi does not currently have an answer for the Rage Form. Oh, but he just found one. I think he just found Smite the Monstrous. Yeah, he did.
Wow.
Right on time again. So if Martin gets out of line with one of those Become Immenses, then down will go his Rage Form.
Gets out of line, you mean makes the easy and obvious play? Yeah, Become Immense is not quite lethal, right? It'll deal 16.
That's right.
2/2 double strike turns into 8/8 double strike.
Attack with a 3/3. Martin's not blocking, and he immediately doesn't block. So he's going to be paying attention to how Martin handles the no block there if it's just not even a question for him. I mean, this would be a trade. If Martin wanted the game to go much longer, he might consider a block, but not a chance.
Yeah, not with his hand.
And Zvi's going to note, these little things.
He's going to not outlast the Einak Bonkin. I think he's totally willing to block and trade here. 3/2 first striker versus 2/2 double striker. Zvi would happily trade.
I think you're right.
I mean, he saw all the giant growths last game. That double striker is kind of scary.
Okay, here's Fierce Invocation, though, and that's going to get Martin another manifest. This one's going to have 2 counters on it, though, 2+ and +1 counters. So he's got a 4/4, and not interested in that trade. He's going to shift the turn back to Zvi.
Muller's playing a combo deck, isn't he? He's
kind of
playing
is.
Red-green double strike combo. Teamer Battle Rage, the Rage Form.
3 cards.
And I'll be surprised if we see Zvi tap down below 4 mana at any time in the near future here. Oh, he's going to Awaken the Bear after the block here, though. That was the block with the Fierce Invocation manifest.
Do have a result from off-camera in the feature match area, by the way. Daryl Ayers wins his pod. So the American moves to 9-2, victorious in his pod. Flame Ash Rider dashing in for the quick win. Filippo Kracher picks up his first loss of the morning. 8-3 overall for the Italian.
By the way, more evidence of the kind of combo feel for Martin Muller. His manifest card was Dragon Grip. He's trying to get in sneaky damage whenever he can here. Oh, big play for Zvi, though. He feels like the shields are up now. And he plays a timely Horde Mate that lets him get back his Einak Bonkin. The question is, does Milla have the ability here to get in for lethal? And it feels pretty unlikely.
Yeah, he doesn't have any ability to give trample.
Teamer Battle Rage is the manifest?
Right.
I've never seen a Rage form be a Teamer Battle Rage.
Pierre Dajon has even things in his match. He'll be going to game 3 against Anthony Del Moral Leon. Seth Manfield has his Sage Eye Avengers again in that match.
Must be nice.
No Sorin on the other side this time, so he's trying to force a game 3.
Seth only has one of them, though.
I believe that's correct.
Remember, he can copy it.
Right. We did have the Avengers assembling in the first match.
So Feral Khrushchev is trying to keep Martin Muller out of dead range here as he's fallen down to 9 life. Zvi at what you would think would be a comfortable 17, but Martin has shown us that a rage form is pretty good.
Oh, he uses his smite.
Yeah, so this is interesting. Zvi's actually getting quite aggressive here.
Huh.
And he is going to try to finish off Martin next turn here.
Leaves himself 2 blockers.
He's left himself 2 blockers. So let's say that Muller has Awaken the Bear plus Become Immense. Now we can see his hand there. He doesn't.
Right. Awaken the Bear plus Become Immense would just win on this board.
I think it would, right? Even if it's a double block.
I don't think we have Zvi's card in the card viewer, but... Oh, wow. Outlast on the Bonkin. He's on just the Horde Mate.
So he's just taking the risk.
Wait, Savage Punch, Become Immense, right? Or Become Immense followed by Savage Punch.
Become Immense, so that's going to enable Ferocious here.
Savage Punch.
Savage Punch, that's 6, 7, 8, that's 10.
On a double striker.
On a double striker, that's 20.
Wow.
Wow.
Huh.
So he actually does assemble the combo finish this time and forces a game 3 against Zvi Mowshowitz.
Wow, Zvi is kicking himself for going down to 1 blocker. And look at the smile from Martin Muller. He knows he got away with one there.
He
could not find the trample. Zvi should not have gone down to 1 blocker there. That was just an error.
He's shaking his head?
Shaking his head, yeah.
Wow. All right, let's take a look back over at Seth Manfield and Alexandre Bonneau. So I think that's the Sage Eye Avengers that has the Ancestral Vengeance on it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Oh, here's a Savage Punch, taking out Summon Prowler.
And a Valorous stance here as well. Wow, what a huge turn for Bonneau.
Suddenly it's Longshot Squad versus Wind Scout.
Yeah, unfortunately it's tapped. So he's going to take half of his life total here.
2 prowess triggers for the win.
That could do it. Doesn't have it though. And the Longshot Squad.
Leaping Master with no white mana.
But it doesn't matter.
It's true.
So right now, Seth Manfield has 2 lethal attackers, and even if the Longshot Squad has reach...
Still can only block 1 of them.
Right. Whoa! Noxious Dragon here for Bonneau, though.
Crippling chill for the win.
On end step.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Whichever one. That's ball game.
So Seth Manfield...
On to game 3.
Forces it, and he's playing to stay undefeated. Remember, Seth is 10-0 right now, though. Bonneau sitting at 9-1 as well. Ooh. There's a lot of action down there this round. Wow, that ending on our main match. You know, Zvi, I see he was looking at him like, you have it? You have it? And Martin's like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, Zvi, he'll be kicking himself about that one for a while. He's been talking about making a legit comeback to Magic, too. I mean, he had a full-time job. He's left his full-time job recently. He does have a kid that's been taking up a lot of his time, but he's also talking about playing a lot more Magic than he has been able to over the last few years.
Looks like we came into a constructed match here for a moment. Over here
Drino.
with Pierre Dajon versus Antonio Del Moral Leon, who just resolved Dune Blast.
Sure, Dune Blast, keep my Siege Rhino. That's how you draw it up, right?
That's how he drew it up, I'll tell you that.
Put the deck together, that's what you imagine yourself doing.
I mean, maybe you're not playing Jeskai Banner into it, but sure. Wow. And Pierre's got to try to follow up here. And it looks like he's done exactly that. He's put up a 3-powered flyer for attacks and even an 0-5 blocker to take care of the Siege Rhino. Can't ask for much more than that after getting Dune Blasted. Dune Blast into Sage Eye Avengers has been called. Not one you see often. I certainly haven't seen that sequence yet. But here we are. And Pierre looks at his hand and puts his
You can
head
see
in
why
his hands.
Antonio is playing to win the pot here. His deck looks great.
Wow. Yeah, Antonio sitting at a fairly cushy life total of 16 under virtually no pressure here as well. Looks like he's going to be able to slam the door on this thing if Pierre can't come up with a big haymaker of his own. All right, let's jump back over to this exciting
This
game
match has been
3
great.
here. Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Martin Muller almost won game 1.
And then Zvi had him in game 2 and
Felt like
went
he
down
had
to
him.
one blocker. You can't go down to one blocker when you're at 17 and there's a double striker. I mean, apparently you can't against Martin Muller.
And a nice curve again for Zvi. We've seen this all 3 games. His deck is really, really nice on the low mana curve creatures, easy to cast. He was on 2 into 3. I wouldn't be shocked to see if he played 2 2-drops or a 4-drop on this next turn. His curve has been very nice. And what does Miller have here? Nothing. Passes the turn back. No Bathing Dragonfire, no Morph. Very slow start here, and he's under decent amount of heat here already, dropping down to 13 life, and there's that 4-drop Formless Nurturing. So 7 power on the board for Zvi, and it's on Martin to do something. I think he's got Sultai Flare. There it is. So that's a nice board stabilizer, assuming that it sticks around. If Zvi can deal with the Flare, could find Martin Muller under a ton of pressure early here.
Yes. Go.
It's another Bondkin, and he doesn't even have the extra white mana
only
to
one white.
start outlasting his other Bondkin. And here comes Feral Cruciak for Martin. And he looks to be quite stabilized here after a decent start from Zvi. You know, the green-white color pair doesn't have a lot of ways to punch through this kind of damage. He needs to just go bigger, which is possible.
Tap both your guys on attack.
Or you play Elite
Was it
Scale
Elite
Guard.
Scale Guard?
Yeah,
Oh
Elite Scale Guard is
my
pretty good.
Goodness.
It's got some +1/+1 counters going around.
So remember, both creatures with +1/+1 counters get that extra ability on the bottom you see on Elite Scale Guard. Whenever a creature you control with a counter on it attacks tap target creature.
Die.
So they both.
Zvi
got
just said,
tapped.
if I die, I die.
He did?
Yeah, he's on 21. He hasn't been attacked yet. He's like, I hope I'm not dead. And Martin's doing math.
I mean, he doesn't have a double striker this time,
No,
but Teamer
no.
Battle Rage can create one.
He's got Awaken the Bear and Become Immense. He can't cast them, though. He doesn't have the Delve for the Become Immense. Otherwise, that would be, well, it's not quite 21. And there's a blocker, but like it's 19, I think.
That's so funny. His opponent went
8
4-drop into
17.
5-drop with nothing else, has not attacked him yet. He's tacked him down to 2 with no casualties, and he says, if I die, I die. I think Zvi may be slightly traumatized by the experiences of Game 2, and could have been Game 1 if he didn't have
the Sandblast. He had
killer.
the Sandblast he had just top decked.
Yeah.
Martin's like, oh, is there some way I can...
You know, the fact is, Zvi, you know, with a Teamer Battle Rage, could have died here, although it's still
Wait, he
pretty
has
tough.
Teamer Battle Rage. I didn't see the Battle Rage
He
when
does
he
have
drew
it?
this hand up.
Oh,
He just
wow.
drew Battle Rage.
So if he
There's
does
a blocker,
that, that's
but he's got a
10,
Savage Punch.
13, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like he's 1 mana short here.
Yeah, this is super close, isn't it?
Right, because the Battle Rage goes to the graveyard, and that gives him 5 virtual mana total for Become Immense, but he needs another.
Yeah, and he has to Savage Punch to get the blocker out of the way.
Also,
Because he can't, he
his
doesn't have the
best
mana
creature.
for Awaken the Bear.
Wow. And he's going to play Alpine Grizzly.
Could not quite. But by killing the Elite Scale Guard, it means that he's not going to get all his creatures blocked here.
Isn't he just dead, though?
Just because you made that play, I want to make sure.
Isn't he dead, though?
If I were to attack with all 4 creatures, and he were to take equal damage, but this trigger would happen, he would lose the game, right?
So you could hear what Zvi's asking. He's talking about the
Right, and he would be dead, right?
the Sultai Flare.
Trigger happens only after he's dead.
Right,
Yeah.
you're at 2.
Right,
So
and
Zvi says,
the
"Attack
truth
with my whole
is
team."
that creature dies, but that trigger is on the stack. You know what, though?
Is
it's
it
going to die to
first
first strike. Martin Muller's a step ahead of him. It dies to the first strike damage.
It dies to first strike right now.
Yeah, right. First strike.
Gain 4, go to 6.
Did Zvi just punt
Take
2
2.
games in a row?
Lose the creature, trade the creature? Oh, no.
He missed the first strike trick. You blocked the
did.
first striker.
He missed it.
Go ahead.
He doesn't have anything
And now
to get
it's
back.
now it's Battle Rage
The worst.
Awaken.
Yep.
But he can block. It doesn't trample. Oh, he's got plenty of mana.
He's got Awaken the Bear, and it does have trample.
Unbelievable.
And he just combo finished to kill Zvi Mowshowitz for the second time in a row.
Oh my goodness.
So he gave it double strike. He gave it +6/+6. He gave it +3/+3 in
And he
trample,
gave it
and it was
trample.
already a 5/5. So that's 6, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 double strike trample.
Take
That's
28.
28 damage.
That was
he
a
could
blocker.
only
He
block
only
2
takes
of
26.
it. Yeah, so he only took 26. And that's it. Martin Muller wins his match after a
Wow.
huge mistake from Zvi as well.
Yeah, Zvi made mistakes in both Game 2 and Game 3, but Martin's deck was awesome. I love that. Martin Muller, that was a fun match to watch.
That
I
was
mean, I
exciting
feel bad
stuff.
for Zvi because he clearly, he even asked the question about the Flayer, and it's true that if you deal lethal damage and and a creature dies, the Flayer triggers on the stack, death gets checked, your opponent's just cold. But if it dies to first strike damage, then the trigger has time to resolve before the rest of the damage is dealt.
You know, we've seen
Martin
that.
Muller knew it the whole way.
Yeah, because those tricks have come up as well when you talk about bolster as well with creatures like Abzan Sky Captain when they die.
Right.
There can be some interesting first strike interactions
Now, was
there too.
Zvi going to die anyway?
That's the question.
Obviously, his lethal attack was just incorrect. He thought, his Alpha Strike was lethal, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I don't know how he gets around the Battle Rage, Become Amends, Awaken the Bear. Let's say everybody's on defense.
14. I don't think
Even
he
with
can
everybody
survive
on
it.
defense, that's a 28 power trampler.
Right. He can certainly not die that turn, but I don't think that's really the question. Because he was at 21, right?
I'm not even convinced he cannot die.
Yeah, he had.
I mean, I guess he has the
he only
mana to
needed-
unmorph a Pine Walker.
Yeah, he only needed, 5 or 6 toughness or whatever. But he loses
But he
his
loses
whole
his
team.
whole team, right?
And he takes 15 or whatever.
Yeah, I'd have to
So-
go back and figure out if Zvi had
Yeah.
to win. Zvi may have been on the way to losing that game anyway.
Yeah, that does not. He will not be thinking about that
Game
as he
2
walks
was the
away.
bigger punt.
Indeed. So Seth Manfield facing down Alexandre Bonneau from France. Alexandre's at 9-1. Seth's at 10-0 and looking to stay undefeated. Though I just saw Soren, Solemn Visitor, hit the battlefield here for Bonneau, which is of course never good news if you're Manfield. Though, what is going on up at the top there? Are those all creatures
Clever
on the battlefield?
Impersonator is on Mistfire Weaver.
You at 13, me at 14.
Okay, so it looks like Soren plus and then an attack from Longshot Squad with the +1/+1 on the lifelink. Switch the life totals around a little bit here.
Oh, wow.
But we
There's
came
the
in
burn
just
away.
in time because Burnaway takes away the only creature,
No.
and he can attack
Seth
with
Manfield,
enough
ladies
to
and
kill him.
gentlemen.
And Seth Manfield stays undefeated here, 3-0ing his draft pod after
Wow.
3-0ing day one draft potting and running through the fields in Modern with his burn deck.
Wow. So he is 11-0. Some chance he could sneak into top 8 at 12-4. Although the tournament's big enough, he probably 11-3-1. So he needs 1 win and 1 draw. If he gets the win, he'll get the draw. He is in great shape. There's 5 rounds
With
left.
a burn deck, he's just going to pick up 1 win, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody's
You
going
don't
to
go 05
mulligan a
with
couple
burn, right,
times
exactly.
or say, I can't ever beat your deck. All right, well, let's send it back to the news desk and Richard Hagan.
So much, very much indeed to the guys. The limited rounds are done. Those scores, we talk about the cream rising towards the top. Remember, the 4th loss is critical. Here are some of the players at 3 and 2 losses. Jacob Wilson, 9 and 2. Li Shi-chan, 8 and 3. Willie Adel, up to 8 and 3. Reed Duke is now 8 and 3, your number 5 ranked player in the world. Chris Fennell, limited specialist, he's at 8 and 3. Now he has to go modern the rest of the way. But he has a Pro Tour top 8, and the last year he's done it before. Andrew Beckstrom, we've mentioned to you before, he's up to 8 and 3 as well. Eric Froelich, who did the draft year with Brian David Marshall before this round, he has successfully gone 2 and 1 from 7-1 overnight. He's at 9 and 2. Some names we haven't really mentioned, a couple of Europeans. Valentin Mackel of Austria with his 5 Grand Prix top 8s. He is at 8-3 and still alive, as is a North American Grand Prix winner from Europe. Slovenia's Robin Dola is up to 8-3. And John Finkel has won his last match to go to 8-3. Plenty more action coming your way. We're going to head into Modern in a little while, but it's lunchtime. We've got So What Now coming up, a great limited feature. But first, we've got some very important organised play announcements with Hélène Bergeau.